And that was Luka Doncic of the Dallas Mavericks, who after the game, after this controversial call that we saw, which was not really a call, it was more of a mistake, that led to an uncontested basket for the Golden State Warriors because the officials didn't inform the Mavericks that they changed the call of possession in the timeout. After this game ends, that ends, by the way, it's a 2-point game. Luka Doncic makes the money sign, rubbing his fingers together right at the officials. Wow. Good morning, Boomer. How are you?
Good morning, G. I'm doing great. And, I know exactly what you're talking about. I saw it as well. And I have to tell you, it was a bizarre way this game ended. And I'm assuming that Luka Doncic, I wasn't there. I don't know what was in his mind, but I'm thinking that he's thinking that the NBA is telling the refs, believe this is how far you got to go into this, telling the referees that Golden State shouldn't have to play in the play-in tournament. That's essentially kind of like the bottom line of this.
Yeah.
Like they have to win to keep them out of the 7 spot.
Yes, and I would agree. So if you look at the spread last night, it was Golden State minus 2.5. So it didn't affect the spread. But this is something that Luka Doncic obviously believes. Now, maybe in the moment he was, annoyed about it and did something he didn't believe, but he thinks that the Warriors being in the playoffs and guaranteeing being in the playoffs, being out of the play-in is more important to the NBA than the Mavericks being there.
What's amazing is what's even more amazing is how the game, like there was a play in a game where the ball went out of bounds. Mm-hmm. They said it was going to be Mavericks ball.
Yes.
Then they come back and then they turn around and they say, no, it's actually Golden State's ball.
Yep.
So they gave Golden State the ball underneath the basket, which they were scoring at.
Right.
And the Mavericks were all down on the other end of the court. Like if the Mavericks thought it was their ball, wouldn't there be a Maverick player down to get the ball and throw it in bounds?
Yeah.
Or did they think they were getting the ball at half court?
Yes. They thought they were getting the ball at half court. Yeah. And they were standing right there trying to figure it out.
It is like the most bizarre thing in the world. So why wouldn't the referee, in this case, or the referees, tell the Mavericks that the call was overturned and that the ball was going back to Golden State?
I don't know. I think that's an oversight, and they made a mistake. And the fact that they inbounded the ball and gave the ball to the Warriors with the Mavericks on the other end of the court was a real problem, too. Like, blow the whistle, explain it. Hey, maybe you didn't hear me or I forgot to tell you, but you guys are down here. You need to defend this basket because we changed the call.
So the Mavericks are going to protest this game, right? Yeah. I mean, and there have been protests that have been upheld in the NBA, if I remember correctly.
I don't remember one recently, but this one is as bad as it gets. And Mark Cuban comes out of the stands, and he's got his T-shirt and his shorts on, and he's arguing with the officials during this whole thing, and it was pure chaos that was going on in this game. And there, I'm watching it right now again. Luka Doncic going up to the refs, making the money sign.
Now, does Luka Doncic? All right, I'm assuming that he understands what this money sign is. I don't know if that means something else to him and where he's from, but I'm assuming that this is a universal mony sign.
Yes.
Like the universal middle finger.
It's a safe assumption, yes.
All right, okay. I mean, here's your top 5 player in the league.
Yep.
And he is looking at the officials, and he's giving the money sign like, you sons of bitches are on the take, and you just screwed us in our own house.
Yeah.
You screwed us in our own house.
I mean, that's essentially what he's saying. Now, I did not hear anything that he said after the game. I'm assuming if he went deeper into this, I would have known about it. So he probably was thinking, I don't want to get fined if I am going to get fined more. But this is the significance of this. Like, this is not just us taking a phone call from somebody who lost a bet that thinks that the league is fixed. This is one of the top players in the leagues doing that.
And plus, the owner of the Dallas Mavericks is standing at the scorer's table.
Yeah.
Like involved.
Yeah.
Normally, owners don't do that. No. Now, I know Mark Cuban's a little bit different than most owners, and I know he's involved, and I know he loves his team, and I know he loves going to the games and everything else like that. But he is at the scorer's table, and he's talking to the people at the scorer's table. Like, this is crazy. Could you imagine Jim Dolan going to the scorer's table?
No,
Could you imagine Joe Tsai going to the scorer's table?
No, absolutely not.
Could you imagine Steve Cohen coming out of the stands and going to home plate and arguing at the home plate umpire.
Kicking dirt on the umpire.
Could you imagine that?
No, not at all. And this is, and Mark Cuban, like you said, is different. It's funny. He's wearing his Mavericks t-shirt and his Mavericks basketball
He's all in.
Shorts, and obviously he's all in because he went out and got Kyrie Irving as well, and that really hasn't worked out as he didn't play last night, and they've lost 3 in a row, and this is a problem for the Mavericks, but it's a problem for the NBA.
Mavs ball. The announcer announced it, and then there was a timeout.
Yeah, this is
Mark Cuban is basically putting out there on Twitter. During the timeout, the official changed the call and never told us. Then when they saw us line up as if it were our ball, he just gave the ball to the Warriors, never said a word to us, so they got an easy basket. Crazy that it would matter in a 2-point game. Worst officiating non-call mistake possibly in the history of the NBA. And all they had to do was tell us that it was their ball, not our ball, and they didn't.
Yep.
That's from Mark Cuban.
His Twitter account last night.
Yes.
Yep. So, and he basically nailed it, and he explained to everybody what was going on. And this has long been a thing, not only in the NFL, but also in the NBA, that star players get different treatment, that the NBA wants the stars and the big teams to go as far as possible. And no one's going to call that call on LeBron or Michael Jordan back in the day or Kobe. But if you're somebody else and you're going to the basket, then you're going to, the foul is going to be there every time. So this has been a thing.
Well, if you're Tom Brady versus Taylor Heinecke.
Right, exactly. That too. And the teams and all the stuff. Even this past NFL postseason, some of the calls that were out there that people were questioning. But those are gamblers that are questioning it. But
this is a player.
And a star player.
And an owner, too, by the way.
And outwardly, I don't know. Now, Mark Cuban did not say that they were doing it for money or the Warriors, but, he said it was the worst call he's ever seen in NBA history.
If you don't tell the other team, and the other team is lined up on the other end of the court as if it's their ball and they're getting the ball at half court.
Yeah.
But the ball was down on the end line of the other end of the court, and all the Warrior players are down there under the basket that they're shooting at.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
How do you hand the ball to the Warriors and blow the whistle and say
and the other team is down the other end? Obviously, they don't know what you've just done here.
Right, of course.
Oh, man. And plus, it happened in Dallas.
Yeah, it did. It did. So, this is a bad one. Now, I don't think that this stuff goes on. I really don't believe that now, I know there's been an NBA official in Tim Donaghy back in the day who absolutely was trying to fix games, and he has admitted that and talked about that for years. I don't think that's what's going on here. I just think this was a horrible mistake and a stupid moment for an official. But because of legalized gambling and because more people are involved, you got more people talking about it and thinking about it.
We're not the only country that has legalized gambling. Legalized gambling's been going on for years and years and years and years and years in Europe.
Yeah.
Sometimes those people could be idiots over there, but for the most part, it's been going on for years. So
and they've been accusing things of being fixed too.
Exactly.
Tennis matches and soccer matches.
Well, look at the latest soccer. Is it Real Madrid or somebody?
I'm not familiar.
I just read it, and it's somebody was paying off the referees.
Well, there you go.
And it's all documented too, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty bad. So I'll try to find that. Well, the point is that this is
crap's happening.
This crap happens all over the world.
Right, I know.
But wow. I don't believe that the Warriors or Adam Silver is telling the officials, let's try to get the Warriors.
This is a bonehead mistake.
Right.
And then, unfortunately, the image of Luka Doncic giving the money sign, the universal money sign, and pointing it at a referee. That's not a good look.
Yeah, that has to be one of the worst ones ever. Like I can't remember a guy of that caliber and that celebrity in his own league referring to the refs being on the take more than this. And this is, maybe people just see that and throw it away and go, oh, that's Luka just being the guy that he is, which is someone who complains a lot about the officials. No, that is bigger than that. He's going to get a talking to. There's no doubt he may get fined. He may get suspended. I don't even know how far they would go because that they go after these players pretty hard when they criticize the officials after the games.
Barcelona paid the referees.
Barcelona did.
That's it.
And that's a fact. They took, and the refs took the money?
Barcelona's rep jeopardized by payments to former referee.
Former referee.
Says the money was for technical reports on referees and youth players.
Yeah, sure
Okay.
it was. Sure it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but
get it.
But big business
Hey,
in sports, man.
Big business in sports, and so I got some other news for you.
You do?
Yeah, if you want it.
Yeah, I'd like some other news. Yeah.
So, they traded Elijah Moore, the Jets did.
Yes, that's right.
So
yeah.
that was going to happen for a couple of reasons. One, they get another second-round draft pick, and that could help in the compensation for Aaron Rodgers. It also opens up the number 8 for Aaron Rodgers if he wants number 8, his college number, which is fine too. They also signed Nicole Hardman, which I think is a great signing because, he and Elijah are very similar in terms of the stature and players. He was a second-round draft choice out of Georgia. He's a speed merchant. He just has to stay healthy. That's all. And, Elijah wanted out of here last year. And the moment that he started screaming, yelling about getting traded was the moment that, Joe Douglas was going to trade him.
Yeah.
They just weren't going to do it immediately. It was just going to, eventually they were going to get him out of there.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate because I really do like Elijah Moore. And I don't necessarily know how he'll do with the Browns or any of that other stuff, but I do like him. So there's obviously some shifting and stuff going on. And I do believe that Joe Douglas and Odell Beckham Jr. had a conversation yesterday too. So, I just think that, we're talking possibly, things are changing over there. The Jets are trying to bring in some stars and they're reconfiguring their wide receiving core. At the moment, I think Corey Davis is going to stay. That's my feeling that he's going to stay.
He's going to stay even if Odell comes in?
I feel like right now, yes, but again, money and whatever Aaron Rodgers decides to play for, which I think Jeff fans are going to be very happy with, that is going to maybe impact some other positions on the team.
Okay.
But so they got rid of Elijah Moore. Number 8's available. They got another second-round draft pick. They don't have a lot of draft picks this year. I think they only have 6 now. They have 42 and 43. I don't think both of those would go to the Packers. I think one of those would go to the Packers. And Joe Douglas is smart. He signs a guy on a 1-year deal, Nicole Hardman. It's kind of a prove-it deal. Let's see if you can stay healthy and be our slot receiver. And, if you're going to be our slot receiver and we got Aaron Rodgers as our quarterback, you're going to get a lot of opportunities.
Sure, and he knows about opportunities with great quarterbacks as he played with Patrick Mahomes.
Right, exactly. So, and plus he's fast. Yeah. And the team just got faster. The number 8 opened up. Maybe OBJ's coming. Maybe. All
right. So they had a conversation. So
I believe they did. Yes.
Right. Okay. So, and this has been a rumor for a while now. You brought it up a couple of weeks ago that there was interest there. Now it is getting even more interest. Do you believe it will happen? That Odell Beckham Jr. will be a Jet, or is this just poking around, kicking the tires?
I think really it depends on what Odell's looking for in terms of money.
And that's been documented.
I know, but he came out and I understand that he sees all the money that all these other guys have gotten, but he's kind of derailed his career in many different ways, and he's been his own worst enemy in some cases. But the knee injury is a significant thing, and that's why watching his workout the other day, man, he looked fantastic. He looked great. I don't know what mental space he's in. The fact that he got thrown off that plane and all that other stuff.
And he was really doing a lot of good stuff prior to that, and that sort of set him back.
But again, I think people are really, you worry about the combustible nature.
Yeah.
Now, most of the guys that play with him say he's a great teammate, that they love him. He to me is like, I'm trying to think. He reminds remember when Allen Iverson was playing? Sure. Everybody loved Allen Iverson. Mm-hmm. The entire league, the fans. But, he didn't want to practice. He didn't want to put the work in. He may have been even 10 times better had he been committed to the way Kobe Bryant was committed.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I think Odell now at the age of 30, 31 is probably realizing, I got to get my act together. And maybe another 1-year deal coming and playing with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
If you can't make that work and you can't, be a good teammate and be a guy that is going to try to raise the level of everybody's, else on the roster, I would take. I told you I would take a flyer on him if I have Aaron Rodgers. I'm not taking a flyer on him if it's just Zach Wilson.
Of course, and you wouldn't assume that it would be. Now, I would think that somebody out there would offer him a 2-year deal. Nobody would?
It doesn't seem like it right now. But the other thing, too, is it's not that there was a list that was given by Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers didn't write a list down and say, here, guys, this is what I want. It's my shopping list. I think it was reported a little bit. They asked him. like if you come to the Jets, are there players that you would like to play with that maybe we can go out and get for you? That kind of thing. That's the way the conversation goes.
Of course.
And then he says, hey, man, I'd love to play with Odell Beckham Jr. So now Odell Beckham Jr. is on the Jets' radar. So,
yeah. Well, I just want to know how serious this is because
I think it's really serious.
Right.
I don't think the GM calls the guy and talks to him.
No, I know.
If they're not serious.
Okay. But here's the thing: it's the
like
money because he apparently wanted $15 million to $20 million at first.
So all I know is this: let's just say 1 year, $6 million. Let's see what happens. That's basically what Nicole Hardman's doing. Coming in $6 million, $6.5 million, something like that. And let's see what we got. We got a Hall of Fame quarterback coming in here. This is your chance to show everybody that you still have a lot left in the tank. You play with this Hall of Fame quarterback. Who knows what you make next year?
Yeah, I would assume that somebody else out there, especially with a weak, wide receiver class this year in the draft.
Who's the quarterback?
That Odell would play with.
I got to know who the quarterback is. Like you're not putting him with Derek Carr on the Saints. You're not throwing him in Houston. You're not putting him in Indianapolis. You're not putting him.
What about with the Giants?
I would not. I would not go down that road if I were the Giants. And the only reason I say that is because, he left a mark here, man.
Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the red bell so you're notified when we have new content.